Among the enigmatic predators of the early Cretaceous, few carry a story as distinctive as Irritator, a close relative of Spinosaurus and one of the most scientifically intriguing members of the Spinosaurus family. Discovered in the Cretaceous rocks of Brazil and living approximately 110 million years ago, Irritator enters the scientific record under unusual circumstances. Its nearly complete skull had been deliberately altered by a fossil dealer to resemble that of a pterosaur, misleading early researchers and inspiring a name that reflected their understandable frustration. For teams across Jurassic World, Irritator represents a perfect balance of specialization, manageability, and guest appeal. As a mid-sized carnivore with modest resource requirements, it provides a responsible operational footprint while offering behaviors not commonly showcased in traditional theropod exhibits. Its elongated snout, streamlined profile, and semi-aquatic foraging patterns give guests a window into a predator that thrived along prehistoric waterways, an ecological niche rarely seen in the Mesozoic era. Jurassic World selected Irritator to stand as one of the ambassadors for the Spinosaurid lineage, allowing visitors to witness a safe, yet authentic representation of this remarkable family. From dynamic fishing strikes to its graceful movements through shallow water, Irritator embodies the adaptability and evolutionary ingenuity that define the dinosaurs brought back to life in our parks. To showcase this animal's full range of behaviors, our exhibit integrates multi-layered guest viewing experiences. Elevated galleries offer sweeping perspectives across the habitat, while the Jungle River Ride allows guests to paddle along the waterline, bringing them within arm's reach of naturalistic hunting demonstrations. For a more intimate encounter, the visitor pathway curves above the habitat, at one point circling directly over the enclosure itself, allowing guests to peer straight down into the wetlands and observe Irritator from a uniquely close top-down perspective. In today's feature, we'll explore the paleontological history that shaped our understanding of the species, examine its role within the Jurassic Park franchise, and reveal how our dinosaur management teams have translated ancient ecosystems into modern exhibit design. Whether you're here as a future guest, a fellow paleontology enthusiast, or a park manager seeking inspiration for your next exhibit, we invite you to dive into the story of Irritator with us. Up next, we take a closer look at the animal itself, its size, anatomy, and defining characteristics in the description section. Irritator is known primarily from the nearly complete skull uncovered in the Romualdo Formation of Brazil's Araripe Basin, a region renowned for its exquisite early Cretaceous fossils. Although the rest of the skeleton remains unknown, the skull alone provides a remarkably vivid portrait of the specialized predator. Long, narrow, and unmistakably crocodile-like, the snout housed deep-rooted conical teeth built not for slicing, but for gripping. Larger teeth at the very front allowed Irritator to seize slippery prey, while the smaller teeth behind maintain an unbreakable hold, mirroring the feeding stages of modern crocodilians. A thin, sagittal crest stretched across the top of the skull, forming a subtle display structure that flattened above the eyes. A separate bony crest ran across the snout and extended over the eye sockets in a unique arrangement unlike that of Spinosaurs. Together, these crests had likely provided visual signals for communication or maturity. The placement of the nostrils, set far back from the tip of the snout, reflects a clear adaptation to aquatic foraging. With this configuration, Irritator could submerge the front of its snout while still breathing, similar to a heron dipping its beak or a crocodile at the water's surface. Internally, its stiff secondary palate and reduced antorbital openings further reinforce its capabilities as a specialized fish hunter. Recent digital reconstructions reveal an even more remarkable adaptation. Irritator's lower jaws could potentially rotate outward, allowing the mouth to open laterally in a pelican-like fashion. This expansive gape enabled the dinosaur to swallow large prey items whole, compensating for a bite that, while quick, lacked the crushing strength of more terrestrial theropods. These studies also support the idea that Irritator held its snout at a slight downward tilt, granting it binocular vision essential for accurately striking at prey beneath the water. Size estimates for Irritator vary considerably, but most analysis place it between 20 and 26 feet long and weighing around 1 ton, making it one of the smallest known spinosaurids. Some reconstructions propose weights ranging from 2,000 to nearly 8,000 pounds. Importantly, the hog-type skull displays unfused bones, indicating that this well-known specimen was a subadult, meaning fully grown individuals may have been larger. Additional fossils from the region help paint a broader picture. Partial skeleton measuring roughly 16 to 20 feet support the presence of moderately sized individuals, while a separate tibia fragment from the same geological formation suggests that some spinosaurians may have exceeded 33 feet in length while still not fully grown. Altogether, this data highlights the ecological diversity and growth potential of Romualdo Formation spinosaurs. Even without a complete skeleton, paleontologists can infer much about Irritator's body from its close relatives. It likely possessed a slender, curved neck designed for rapid downward strikes, complemented by a long, narrow tail that provided stability in shallow water. Its hind limbs were probably powerful, with strong calf muscles that helped the animal wade, lunge, and maintain balance on soft, shifting substrates. As with most theropods, Irritator would have had 3-fingered hands for grasping or stabilizing prey and a shortened, raised first toe. Some reconstructions also speculate the presence of a low dorsal sail, consistent with the tall neural spine seen in many spinosaurids. If present, this sail may have been used for display, heat regulation, or species recognition in the hot and humid climate of early Cretaceous Brazil. Its feeding ecology was deeply tied to the water's edge. Irritator's elevated nostrils, long neck, and elongated snout positioned it perfectly to exploit aquatic prey. It may have behaved like a giant heron or a grizzly bear in a river, waiting quietly before launching rapid precision-based strikes. Evidence from related species, including spinosaurid teeth embedded in pterosaur bones, suggests these dinosaurs were opportunistic feeders, supplementing their fish-based diets with carrion or small terrestrial animals when available. Insights into its intelligence and sensory abilities further reveal a predator built for accuracy and timing. A CT scan of the brain case showed elongated olfactory tracts, indicating a strong sense of smell, and large floccular recesses, structures used to stabilize vision and coordinate rapid head movements. Expanded semicircular canals in the inner ear helped Irritator maintain balance during sudden strikes, and its estimated hearing range between 350 and 3550 Hz was more refined than that of crocodiles, were suited for detected movement or communication within its aquatic environment. Altogether, Irritator emerges as a sleek, semi-aquatic hunter adapted to the margins of ancient rivers and lagoons, relying on precision, sensory awareness, and sudden bursts of movement rather than brute force. And to understand how scientists uncovered this remarkable animal, from a misidentified altered fossil to one of the most intriguing spinosaurids ever described, we now turn to its paleontological history. In the mid-1990s, a remarkable discovery from the Cretaceous rocks of Brazil reshaped our understanding of spinosaurid evolution. A nearly complete skull, flattened, fractured, and heavily altered, emerged on the fossil market and eventually reached the State Museum of Natural History in Stuttgart. At first glance, the specimen appeared to be belonging to a giant pterosaur species, which seemed plausible given the region's long history of yielding flying reptile fossils. But as international researchers prepared to publish their findings, peer reviewers raised a stunning correction. This was no pterosaur. It was a theropod dinosaur, and more specifically, a member of the Spinosaurid lineage. The skull belonged to a subadult animal that would soon be named Irritator challengeri, a scientific nod both to the paleontologist's frustration with the specimen's damaged and altered condition, and to Professor Challenger of Arthur Conan Doyle's literature. Much of the bone fragments had been intentionally modified by fossil dealers. Plaster was applied to hide fractures, bone fragments were rearranged to create the illusion of completeness, and automotive filler had been packed into a vertical crack. Only through CT scans did researchers uncover that parts of the upper jaw had been artificially extended. Despite all of this, Irritator became the official type species in 1996, and its holotype remains the most complete Spinosaurid skull ever documented. When technician Diane M. Scott fully prepared the specimen years later, many initial assumptions evaporated. The supposed tall crest atop the skull was revealed to be an unrelated bone fragment. The estimated skull length was revised downward by about 9 inches. And most importantly, the skull's long narrowed snout, lined with straight conical unserrated teeth, link Irritator closely to Spinosaurs, though later discoveries confirmed the two were distinct. Debate also arose around Angaturama limai, another Spinosaurid known only from a snout tip found in the same formation. Some paleontologists propose that Angaturama might represent the missing front portion of the Irritator skull. While this remains unproven, the possibility highlights how fragmentary and challenging the Spinosaurid fossil record can be. Although the precise origins of the holotype is unknown, microfossils preserved in its matrix, arthropods like Patterson cypress and fish scales from Cladocycus, firmly place it within the Romualdo formation of the Araripe Basin. Additional Spinosaurid remains from the same formation, including ribs, Vertebrae, limb fragments, and isolated teeth may also belong to Irritator or Angaturama. These discoveries enabled researchers to construct the full skeletal mount displayed in the National Museum of Rio de Janeiro in 2009, dramatically posed with the therosaur caught in its jaws. Tragically, much of this material was destroyed in the 2018 museum fire, though the holotype of another Brazilian spinosaur, Oxalaia, was later recovered in damaged condition. The Irritator holotype skull, catalogued as SMNS 58022, remains housed in Stuttgart, Germany. Its placement abroad has become a matter of international debate. Although exported before modern restrictions prevented fossil removal, Brazilian paleontologists continue advocating for its return under the banner #IrritatorBelongsToBR, arguing that the fossil represents a vital piece of Brazil's scientific heritage. The skull itself offers a rare look into the feeding mechanisms of a spinosaurid. Unlike most theropods, Irritator could not simply hinge its jaws open in a vertical motion. Instead, the bones of the lower jaw appear to have rolled outwards as the mouth opened. Some researchers suggest that the jaws may have even opened into a diamond-shaped net, reminiscent of a pelican's flexible jaw. While not universally accepted, this interpretation aligns with a predator adapted for seizing and holding slippery prey, such as fish. Though many questions persist about its full skeletal form and size, Irritator challengeri stands today as one of the most important spinosaurids ever found. Its story blends scientific detective work, the challenges of the fossil trade, and ongoing efforts to clarify its place in early Cretaceous ecosystems. With these paleontological foundations established, we now move into the next section, exploring the environment, climate, and ecological community that shaped Irritator's world. To understand Irritator, we must look beyond its slender snout and specialized jaws and into the world that shaped them. Around 110 million years ago, during the Early Cretaceous, northeastern Brazil was dramatically different from the landscapes we know today. The South Atlantic was only beginning to open, carving shallow basins between what is now Brazil and southwestern Africa, while the northern portion of South America remained biologically linked to West Africa. It was within this evolving coastal margin that the Romualdo Formation formed, a remarkable geological unit renowned for its extraordinary fossil preservation. The Romualdo Formation, part of the larger Santana Group, represents a tropical lagoon bordered by arid to semi-arid terrain. Warm shallow waters, fluctuating sea levels, and periodic influxes of marine conditions created an environment ideal for both aquatic and terrestrial life. Surrounding the lagoon were hardy plants, including cycads, ferns, conifers, and early angiosperms, vegetation adapted to withstand dry seasons and high temperatures. Life within the lagoon was abundant. Fossils recovered from this formation preserved not just bones, but soft tissues, including muscle fibers in pterosaurs and dinosaurs, and fish so exquisitely preserved that their gills, digestive tracts, and even hearts remained visible. This rare level of detail marks the Romualdo as a true Lagerstadt, a site where time appears momentarily suspended. Within these waters swam massive predators, including fish measuring up to 10 feet long. For a spinosaurid, hunting such prey was well within reach. Irritator's long, conical teeth and flexible jaw mechanics, combined with powerful hook-like claws and heavily muscled forelimbs, made it an adept fisher along the shallow shores. This dual specialization allowed spinosaurids the best of both worlds, accessing food resources from both land and water. While more conventional theropods struggled to catch aquatic prey and giant crocodilians were limited in their ability to pursue dinosaurs on land, Irritator occupied a highly advantageous ecological niche. The larger ecosystem of the Romualdo Formation was astonishingly diverse, especially in its aerial predators. The skies were filled with pterosaurs such as Anahuera, Tapejara, Pelasodromius, Tupuxuara, Tropicnathus, and many more, forming one of the richest pterosaur communities ever discovered. On land, Irritator shared this world with carnivorous dinosaurs like the Tyrannosaurid Scintinoraptor, the Compsognathus murischia, and an unnamed Dermasaurid and Megaraptoran. The waterways supported crocodiliforms including Ararikasuchus and Cariricasuchus, as well as numerous turtle species. Interestingly, herbivorous dinosaurs are rare in this formation. Paleontologists have proposed that limited vegetation in the surrounding dry environment restricted herbivorous populations, leaving carnivorous species to rely heavily on the lagoon's rich aquatic life. Storm events may have further supplemented diets by washing carcasses of fish and pterosaurs onto the shores. With so many predators focusing on similar food sources, researchers have suggested that some degree of niche partitioning must have occurred. Different species may have targeted prey of different sizes or hunted in distinct microhabitats, some near open waters, others along the shallows or the shoreline. In this dynamic and resource-diverse environment, Irritator thrived as a semi-aquatic predator, bridging the world of land and water. Its anatomical adaptations made it uniquely suited for life along the margins of the Cretaceous lagoon, where every shoreline, inlet, and tidal shift offer new opportunities for feeding. With the ecology of Irritator's world established, we now turn to its modern revival within our park, exploring how these ancient insights guided the creation and design of its exhibit. Welcome to Jurassic World Kyoto, the newest destination in our global Jurassic World family. Nestled among Japan's volcanic cliffs, tranquil bamboo forests, and seasonal cherry blossoms, this park was selected for its natural isolation and breathtaking scenery. The island environment not only enhances guest immersion, but also provides a secure foundation for responsible dinosaur management. Choice is one of the most critical components of welfare within any prehistoric habitat. Whether it is the freedom to avoid public view, to move between distinct microhabitats, to distance themselves from other species, or to select from a variety of food sources, these choices shape a healthier and more rewarding life for our dinosaurs. Although captivity naturally places limits on any species, a carefully designed exhibit can still support the full range of natural behaviors for both adults and juveniles. With proper husbandry and habitat engineering, we create environments where dinosaurs can thrive physically and behaviorally. For Irritator, we crafted a habitat that balances privacy, exploration, and spectacle. Forested hideaway zones filled with live Cretaceous-inspired vegetation and elevated rock outcroppings allow individuals to retreat fully from public view. This dedicated separation space is heavily screened from guest pathways and discreetly doubles as a private access point for ranger teams and veterinary specialists. For guests, the exhibit offers multiple layers of engagement. Built along a protective moat system, the visitor pathway curves above the habitat, at one point circling directly over the enclosure itself, allowing guests to peer straight down into the wetlands and observe Irritator from a uniquely close top-down perspective. This elevated section provides an in-depth look into the exhibit's design, animal movement, and environmental complexity, before the path continues along a panoramic overlooks of the wetlands below. For an even more immersive encounter, the enclosure integrates the Jungle River Ride, a guided boat experience that follows a submerged track beneath dense canopy and cliffside, placing guests safely within the heart of Irritator's world. Beneath the forest canopy, a variety of substrate material fills the terrain. Areas of straw, dirt, sand, and natural grasses allow the animals to dig, burrow, and construct nests according to their preferences. Working alongside our paleobotanical division, the flora palette blends living relatives of Mesozoic plant life such as Temsia ferns, cycads, conifers, and early flowering plants, crafting an environment inspired by the Cretaceous ecosystem that once shaped the species' behavior. Many elements of this exhibit draw inspiration from acclaimed real-world zoological spaces, most notably the Catherine G. McGovern Texas Wetlands at the Houston Zoo. Like its modern counterpart, our design emphasizes layered visibility, environmental realness, and guest immersion. As with all our dinosaur programs, Irritator can also be encountered across several Jurassic World destinations, from the original Isla Nublar Park to our newest expansion in the Olympic Peninsula at Jurassic World Cascadia. Guests may also discover these living relics thriving in our facilities in San Diego, Manchester, Crete, and the Jurassic World Sanctuary in the Dolomite Mountains. With its blend of deep ecology, modern engineering, and themed design, the Irritator habitat stands as one of the most envisioned projects yet. As we turn our attention from exhibit design to pop culture legacy, the next section explores how Irritator has appeared throughout the Jurassic Park franchise. Long before Irritator became part of the Jurassic World family, it had already secured a unique place in both scientific history and popular culture. Its earliest public appearance dates back to 1995 in Brazil, where the species was featured on national postage stamps under the name Angaturama limai, the synonym it was known by before its formal description. This made Irritator the first theropod dinosaur to ever appear on a postage stamp, an unexpected honor for a species still undergoing scientific interpretation at the time. Just a year later, in 1996, Irritator distinguished itself again through the unusual inspiration behind its name. Irritator Challengeri became the first theropod named after a fictional character, taking its namesake from Professor Challenger of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World. The decision reflected both Challenger's famously irritable disposition and the frustration paleontologists experienced when they discovered that the holotype skull had been altered with plaster by fossil dealers, complicating its study. In recent years, Irritator has also become a focal point in discussions surrounding fossil ethics and international ownership. After the 23 reappraisal study, many question why the holotype specimen, originally discovered in Brazil, remained housed within the German collection. The study's authors addressed this in an ethics statement, acknowledging ongoing debates about the legality and ethics of studying Brazilian fossils abroad. They stated that the specimen had been exported before Brazil established formal permit requirements, making it legally considered property of the German state of Baden-Württemberg, and emphasized that final authority over its legal status does not rest with researchers or museum staff. Brazilian paleontologists strongly disputed this conclusion. They publicly demanded the return of the holotype to Brazil, even issuing an open letter to Baden-Württemberg State's Minister of Science and Art, a letter notably signed by two of the very authors involved in the criticized study. A later legal analysis published in the International Journal of Cultural Property determined that Brazil is indeed the rightful owner of the fossil and that the State Museum of Natural History likely did not acquire it in good faith. Despite this, the study concluded that any civil action to reclaim the fossil under Article 985 of the German Civil Code cannot proceed because the statute of limitations set at 30 years has already expired. Beyond these academic conversations, Irritator has quietly built a presence within the Jurassic franchise. Its first physical representation arrived within the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom toy line, where it was depicted in a predominantly brown color scheme with a dark blue head, neck, and sail, accented by lighter blue markings. This marked the first time the species had ever been included in Jurassic Park merchandise set. Irritator has also appeared in a variety of Jurassic-themed video games. It is featured in Jurassic Park 3, Park Builder, one of its earliest digital appearances. In Jurassic World game, it can be created as a rare carnivore. A legendary Generation 2 variant was later introduced. The game's model, however, contains an anatomical inaccuracy, depicting a horn-like bump on the snout rather than the species' characteristic crest located further back on the head. Following this, the species appeared again in Jurassic World Alive, available in two variants, a rare Generation 1 and a common Generation 2, both launched upon the game's worldwide release. Irritator later joined Jurassic World Primal Ops, where players can rescue and utilize it in gameplay. Most recently, Irritator was added to Jurassic World Evolution 3 with the release of the Wetlands pack on December 9, 2025, expanding its role within modern park simulation experiences. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned as our next video examines one of the most powerful dromaeosaurs ever known, the imposing Utahraptor.